All right, here is what I learned over time in my own life from practicing religion, from getting into all the spiritual things, all of the above that has to do with religion, spirituality, all of those things. I've been into all of them. I have experimented with them. I have lived them. I did all of it before. And here is what you learn over time. That spirituality and religion is a metaphor for reality. It is simply a metaphor. It's not to be taken completely serious. It's not to be taken literally. And this is something that I couldn't realize for most of my life, is that these things were simply metaphors telling me how some things are in this life. And see, I used to take these things seriously. I used to take them literally. And that is how I was building up my own religious wall. That is how I was building up this spiritual front in front of me. Kind of like a spiritual mask or a spiritual facade that we all put on and that we wear. And most of us are wearing this. Let's be real here. Most of us are wearing these things every day. And we still haven't broke loose from them because we're taking them literally. We're acting as though these things are something so serious that if you don't go by them, that there's going to be this hell waiting for you. Or if you abide by everything it says, then there's going to be this heaven that you're going to be gifted with because you did everything you were supposed to do. And I know everybody is not going to see this the same way. They're going to say, well, prayer helps me to get by. And I even told you that I was praying about a month ago in a video. That's how this thing has changed that quick for me. Because I finally realized that prayer is just reflection. It's me reflecting and being thankful for my needs, the things that I actually need in my life. I'm reminding myself of that so I don't get too ungrateful and I don't start saying, well, F everything. I don't have anything. And I'm not looking at what is in front of me. I'm thinking of some delusion in my head that I have to, pray to this certain thing, or I have to live up to some standard or expectation, which is spirituality and religion. It's all just extra baggage in our lives. And a lot of people, when you say extra baggage, they're going to get offended. They're going to get angry because they're holding on to that label. They have to keep it. They have to look like they're doing everything right. And these people over here are doing wrong stuff, and I'm going to be blessed, and I'm a righteous person, but these people over here are sinners, and they have no part with God, and they're going to burn in hell for eternity. I could never go for this shit. I could never go for this bullshit. And it actually makes me angry, but anger is not a bad thing. Anger, it's all how you use anger. I am angry at religions. I am angry at spirituality. I am angry at these fake gurus that keep telling everybody all these things, and they're leading you into something that is not there. I'm telling you, it's not there. And when you hear me say it's not there and there's nothing to be gained, a lot of you, that depresses you. That gets you down and out. That gets you in an abyss. That takes away something in your mind, like you have nothing to live for. Yet you have everything to live for. See, I listen to so many channels that talk about the misery of life and how everything's not fair and what is there to be happy about and all this stuff. I understand that. I understand exactly what you're saying. But a lot of what you are referring to things that you've been indoctrinated with. You're referring to things that other people told you that you thought that you had to live like. And that's why you keep bringing this up. Let it the hell go. Let it the fuck go. Let it go. It's done with. The more that you keep thinking about this, the more you're going to keep getting caught in your own snare, your own religious snare, your own societal snare, your own system of a snare. You know how it says system of a down? It should be system of a snare, because that's what it is. It's all designed to snare you. It's all designed to get you caught in their trap and to stay in the trap. It's all a mental thing. It's all a thing that you know, and you're reminded because you can discern these things because someone told you about it. No one else is going to tell you this stuff. And I'm not saying I'm special. I'm not saying subscribe to my channel because I say this or I'm a better guy. But there is no other channels that are going to tell you this. They're just going to keep telling you that there's something to gain through spirituality. If you just keep practicing this thing, sooner or later, you're going to get there. There's something waiting for you. There's a higher you that you just haven't found yet. Bullshit. That's bullshit. You already are what you are. You don't need to be nothing. I don't need to be nothing else. And listen, I know I get a little rambunctious. I get a little ecstatic or hyped up, but you know what? I am tired of these fake gurus running these spiritual cults. And that's what I'm probably going to label this video. Fake gurus running new age spiritual cults, and they're everywhere. Listen, if you want to know what the future of this world is, listen to what I'm telling you. I'm not saying that I'm altogether right, but I have enough knowledge to know where things may be heading in this life and with a lot of other people. The internet is all about selling things, making money, and spiritual practices. And these gurus running these cults telling you to follow this path, do this thing that I'm doing. It's all an agenda. All of it is an agenda. All of it is an agenda. See, you can't just say some of it is, because if you're still half-stepping like I did, then you're never going to get this. You're going to keep going back to the same stuff that you've been conditioned with. You're just going to keep going back to those same things. I know how the process is. I did it my whole life. I just now seen this. I just had an aha moment maybe a couple days ago, a week ago. I don't know when it exactly happened, but something in my mind said, this is how this really is. This is what is going on here. This is how people keep getting caught up in their own misery. This is how people keep getting caught in their own snares of life. This is what it's designed to do. This is what religion, this is what these gurus telling you things. It's designed to keep you stuck. It's designed to keep you in their indoctrination. It's there to keep you in their doctrine. This thing has to do with doctrine. It has to do with these people are cults. They are cult leaders. That's what they are. And don't get me wrong. Am I fascinated with some cult leaders? Yeah, I'm fascinated by them because it's the human experience that we don't understand. We don't understand why some people go the path that they go. We don't understand why Charles Manson did what he did. We don't understand how people can be so brutal and do the things they do to humans. But this is how life really is. You know what I mean? And that's not what I'm talking about in this topic, but This is what I understood, is that everything in the Bible is a metaphor and a parable. It is not something to be taken absolutely serious or to take literally. I'm telling you, it's not something to be taken literally. And I know a lot of you, if you don't take it serious, if I don't take this thing literally, then God's going to judge me. God's going to send me to hell because I'm not believing anymore. God is hearing this right now. See, these are the thoughts that I have had in my head, and they still come up once in a while, but I'm catching them thoughts and I am grabbing that fear by the tail and I am dragging it now. It's not dragging me anymore. I'm dragging it because I know what's happening when those things happen. It's just designed to get me scared. It's designed to keep me fearful. It's designed to keep you in that spot that you're in. It's designed to keep that wall in front of you like this. It's designed for you to put on the mask for everyone. And then you might go home and you say, well, I didn't really want to do those things. I didn't really want to get up and clap because everybody else did. I didn't really want to say what I said, but I said it. Now I feel ashamed because I said it. I know how this whole thing is. I know how we are in our own closets in life. And I refuse to stay in that closet. I refuse to stay in that part of my own room. I am coming out in the middle of the room and I am saying, look, I know what's going on now. I know these things. And it's the reason that I get so rambunctious and I get like this is because when I see brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers and girls and boys and even babies being indoctrinated with this stuff and being taught this stuff, it sickens me. It sickens me to the core. It sickens me. And if it doesn't sicken you, then you're not getting this. If it doesn't sicken you, then you haven't caught hold of this yet. And it's okay if you haven't. I'm not blaming you. I'm not pointing the finger. I'm not saying that I hate you. I'm not saying you're my enemy. See, that's what the Bible would want you to think, is that people are your enemies. That the snare is other people that are getting you caught up in your own problems. But you don't even realize that you're probably the problem. We are the problem. When they say that the blind is leading the blind, what they really mean by that is the blind, religious, and spiritual people are leading blind, spiritual, religious people. That's what they mean. The blind people are the people that are practicing these things, that think they are somehow chosen or saved or better than people, like you're somehow different from me. Really, the people that are taking the blindfolders off are the people that will tell you that this is a metaphor. It is all a parable. It is something that men wrote. Men wrote this stuff. Now listen, am I saying that I know for sure that there isn't some creator? No, I'm not saying that. I do not know for sure. I already told everybody that I don't know for sure. But do I believe in anything? No. Do I believe in a religious being? No. Do I believe in some spiritual thing that floats off when I die? No. Do I think there may be another dimension or a creator that is somehow somewhere and I don't know what it's doing? Maybe. I don't know this for sure. But there is such a big difference between saying that there is something that might have created this, and then we're talking about a religious God, We're talking about a spiritual God. We're talking about the supernatural stuff. This is where we keep getting caught up in this thing, where we keep thinking that we need this. And this fear keeps you in that place. You think if you miss church, that, if you miss church, you did something to offend God if you miss church. If you didn't pray enough, then you did something to offend Almighty God. And now there's going to be consequences. There's going to be karma that's coming. There is no karma. There is no such thing like what goes around comes around. Maybe for some, because what they're doing might be messed up. So of course, if you do something messed up to someone, you might have them do something back to you. It doesn't have nothing to do with karma. It has to do with if you do something, then you know you fucked up and something might happen to you. But me, I don't have to worry about that because I'm being brutally honest here. I'm actually telling people what is really going on in my life and the things that I have went through. I was these things. I practiced these things. I read these things. I've been into these things. I studied these things. I lived these things. I preached to people on a corner. I went and evangelized. I did these things before. Did Jesus teach me some things? Yes, metaphorically, Jesus taught me some things. Jesus, is not a bad guy. Like, I don't hate Jesus, but it's a metaphor. It's a metaphor for us to reflect on our own lives. All that books are metaphors and parables. Just remember this. If you can get this through your head, that everything you've ever been taught or conditioned with, or your mom or your dad or your grandparents or your brothers or some stranger told you, it's because it was a parable or a metaphor that they were spoken to and it resonated with them, because that's what it is. It's a metaphor for reality. It's a parable for things that happen in this reality, because this reality is all that we got. And now I understand this. Now I get this. I didn't get this before. I told myself that the Quran, the Bible, all these things are a metaphor, but let me tell you, there is a lot of fear tactics. There is a lot of conditioning you to conform. There is a lot of that kind of stuff in these books too. I'm not saying that these are all good metaphors or parables, because there is a lot of bad ones in them too. But if you're taking this seriously, or you're taking it literal, this is what so many of us do. We're taking these things serious and literally. It's just a metaphor for life. It's just a metaphor for reality. That's all that it is. That's all that every book that you have ever read, every person you've ever had tell you something and you might have resonated with, it was simply a metaphor that you kind of got. And you said, okay, I get that. I can relate to that. Everything that I do on here is a metaphor for my life. I tell you how I like to be on camera and I like recording. It all has to do with some type of parable going back and forth, and it's allowing me to do what I do, because now I see how everything is a contradiction. I see how the book of Ecclesiastes talks about there's nothing new under the sun. These are just things that are common sense, that there's nothing new under the sun. But we're too scared to admit that to ourselves, that there's nothing new under the sun. And we've always been doing the same thing. We've always been eating the same food. We've always been wearing clothes. We've always been doing everything we do. We have to clean with water. If we don't brush our teeth, then it's going to get rotten. It's everything. If you see that everything is a contradiction, everything is a parable, everything's a metaphor, and to never take things too seriously and don't take them literally, then you will lighten the load on your back. You will feel this pressure leave you to say that I am here right now doing this video and it's 49 degrees. I'm walking. There's nothing I have to do. There's nothing that I have to be pressured into. I don't have to think that I need to be a good person. I can just be myself. I can come out here and do this without having any of that pressure of thinking that I have to be some kind of way for other people. This is where this deconditioning process takes place. And this is what I am telling y'all. And it's not for nothing. I don't do these videos for nothing. Even though I know everything's meaningless. I don't do this for nothing. I wouldn't do this if I knew that I was just bullshitting you and I was telling you a bunch of garbage or telling you something that has nothing to do with how I live or the things that I've learned or the things that I've experienced and went through. I would not tell you this. I would not get on here and expose myself to the things that I'm saying. I would not tell you anything that I'm telling you if that wasn't the case. And now I know I have the freedom to do that. Before, that's why I quit making videos for a while. That's why I got stuck there for a while, because I was at the end of the process of what I'm talking about now. I was going through this process where I thought that if I don't pray every day, then I'm going to be judged. When I should only pray if I need to pray for myself because I need to reflect on something in my life. It's all an individual thing. You understand? It has nothing to do with other people. If you need to do something for yourself in your spare time, then that's what you may need to do. But when you start taking it so seriously and so literally, then you start holding on to this label again. You start to get heavy again. That's what happens. You start getting heavy because you're adding all this extra baggage. You're putting up this wall. You're placing brick by brick. You understand what I mean? You're thinking that you need to do all this stuff, and you're placing brick by brick by brick by brick, and then the wall forms, and then you say, I'm heavy. I don't know what's going on. There's 1,000 pounds on my back. I'm heavy here. I don't know what happened. Well, that's what happened. You are the one that stacked the bricks up. You are the one that allowed all of this religious, spiritual, conforming insanity to take over. And that's what happens. That's what keeps happening. Another realization here. And I get hyped because I get so tired of hearing these people tell you this. I get so tired of hearing these gurus and these spiritual advisors and these religious nutballs telling you this shit. You don't need none of that in your life. You were already free. You were already born to be what you were. You were not born a sinner. There was